Hey everyone, welcome to What's Happening in Real Estate this week. I've got Conrad Zurini with REMAX Escarpment, REMAX Niagara, and Brian Hogben with Mission35 Mortgages, and myself, Rob Golfi with REMAX the Golfi Team. Now, guys, listen, I want to say thank you for having me on that event there, Conrad.
Well,
Great event.
thanks for being there. Thank you.
First class event.
Every
realtor should have been there. At that event, great event, and the number one realtor event, and I learned a lot from it. I love listening to the speakers there. And Brian, you had another event. You didn't look at the schedule. You missed out.
Yeah,
FOMO.
We had a bit of a conflict with our state of company address with Mission35. So
that's it. So the one thing that's there was an article in the paper. It said cancel listing surge as some sellers bet on market shift. Okay, yes. But there's two things. I get it. People are canceling their listings thinking the market's going to be better in the new year. Now, they're still rolling the dice on that, too. Like, you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, anything can happen. We could have a freaking bomb dropping freaking somewhere in Ontario, and everything shuts down.
Yeah.
Pandemic can hit. Anything like power, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So, I mean, if you need to sell, you should sell. But, and there's a surge of that. But there's another thing that people do is they cancel their listing and relist. Now, that was effective before. Not as much now, Conrad. Now, is the Toronto board different versus the Hamilton Burlington board and Niagara board?
In terms of the cancellations?
Days on market. Like, even if you cancel listing, it still shows days on market for realtors that how long you've had it.
Yeah, because it's so, like the other boards do the cumulative days on market. So agents have that at their disposal. But, consumers are watching to see these products drop, right? They kind of like that. Like when we used to cancel relist, we thought we were doing something funny. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's a brand new listing. Sometimes we would even change the angle of the photo.
Yeah.
But it's not. People are on this thing. They're watching it. As a matter of fact, if you want to know if people are watching it and agents are watching it, like cancel it for a few days and then see what happens, right? Then they all start calling you and they say, we've been watching this. It's a whole different animal right now. People are so in tune and they want to see that is this seller coming down and realizing where the market is. And look, I tell everybody, don't bother. This market's so compressed right now. You don't know when somebody wakes up one day and says, you know what? The stars are in line. We got to move on because our life's changed. They put their lives on hold for the last 3 years. And the cancel and relist, it's interesting. I did the numbers. The only area where the actual numbers went down from last year to this year was Burlington. Okay. As a matter of fact, everybody else was much higher last year. Like the cancellations during this period, same period, cancellations were higher in 2023 than they are in 2024. So it's a misnomer that people are saying that.
Yeah,
what is the benefit to the cancel relist strategy then?
Well, because it's
not bubble it back up to the top.
It gets resent on emails to the client. But if you just change the price, it still gets resent to the consumer. Like if the agents have it set up. Now, before you would cancel, and some people just cancel and relist it at the same price. Nothing changed. It's just the dates changed on the listing, which is, you know what? People did that. That was a waste of time. Now when people, like I get sometimes members on my team, they'll say, hey, Rob, I want to cancel and relist it. For what? I says, it's still going to show up days on market. Nothing's going to change. And I said, don't waste your money on doing a full new listing. Just do an amendment, change the price. Like people are looking. The consumer knows. They know.
Yes.
They even ask. They even say, I remember one time one consumer said to me, hey, what the hell is this? Like you cancel, like it gets off the market and next day it's on the market and like it's the same price. Like what the hell's the difference? The consumer, no. If they
watch. Yep.
They know the market better than we do because they know if they have a particular neighborhood area that they want to move to, they know every listing that's going up, every listing that's sold, and they have that information online. So canceling and relisting for the purpose of trying to fool the consumer, those days are gone.
Bogus. Yeah.
Those days
You're
are
better off
gone.
just to do the amendment then. You're better off just to say, hey, listen, Mr. Customer, we're going to reduce the price by 10, 20, 30, and then it's going to get pushed out to everybody who's looked at it again. It's going to bubble it up.
And you know, it's funny. I get those calls. You know, the property's been listed for 123 days. All of a sudden, I'm in competition. So I ask them. I say, wait a minute. Have they reduced the price in those 123 days? Yes, 3 times. Well, you got to understand, everybody's watching it. Like, they're just ready to pounce. It's like, you know, like, it's just, that's the thing. And people are so in tune. If you're in the buying mode, you're on realtor.ca, like 8 times a day.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
You know what I mean? So like, if I'm on it 8 times a day, and if I'm in the hunt and there's another 5 or 10 people in the hunt and they see it kind of go down to that strike price, you know, then they're going to jump on it. 2 people, 3 people are going to wake up like 130 days into the listing for sure.
Well, remember before when a new listing came up, it had to be, it was uploaded at midnight. Like all of
yes,
all the
that's
new
right.
listings.
Yeah.
Now it's instant. Am I correct about? It's
yeah,
instant?
you're correct. Yeah. It's instant. It's
instant.
real time. Yeah.
So that people are getting it instantly like that. Now, there was an article in the paper that was Vancouver. They do cancel. They don't have the cumulative days on their board, do they?
No, every board does it a little differently. Absolutely.
What about Treb?
Yeah.
How's Toronto real estate?
Treb does not. They don't do it at all. Well, because well, I can go into a long dissertation. Toronto, they're very sensitive to anything there. Like,
no kidding.
I mean? There's a lot of rules in Toronto because
oh my god.
They want to protect the 76,000 people that don't do an effing deal. You know what I mean?
That's it.
They protect the mediocre. They're not out to protect guys like you, Rob.
No, because the mediocre is the one that's paying the bills. That's why.
That's why.
You can still find out days on market, though, right? If I wanted to look at a property,
you can look at the history.
It's just not readily available.
Yeah, you're right. Look at the history. Yeah.
Not as a consumer, though. I think.
No, it's only realtors.
As a realtor, you can see.
Yes.
You could check it out. Now, another big problem that's happening right now as we speak is people are getting the misconception that because Christmas is slower, it is slower, but the serious buyers are coming out right now. The guys coming out for Christmas, and people think, well, it's slowing down. Let's cancel and relist it in the new year. They are missing out on an opportunity that a potential buyer is going to look at this house. They may end up buying a house that they go visit their aunt, uncle, or their relative at Christmas, and they say, hey, this is a great neighborhood. I didn't realize there was a house for sale. Boom. They get somebody will come and buy it. You're selling houses all the time, and I can't believe how many people cancel their listings and wait till the new year.
No, crazy.
They're just like you said. Some guy, like you said earlier, some guy wakes up one morning, says, I got to find a house. I need to get a house. And all of a sudden you cancel your listing. And that was the perfect house for them, but it's not on the market anymore.
Yeah. And now you're getting, and there's another rate. Yeah.
The next rate date is December 11th, right? If we had a mild winter as well, too. We had a mild winter last year. God bless my snow guy who made a ton of money for not shoveling snow.
Oh, no kidding. He's got those guys on the contract. I think I'm going to tell these guys I want to start my contract in December, not November.
And you got to run until April, right? It's like,
no kidding. I know.
You get another rate cut December 11th, right? You got those mortgage rules coming in too. You get a mild winter. I think,
So now I didn't get much of this, but they said there was a little mix up in the markets, the way they happened with the Bank of Canada, the bond market and the thing. Did you guys read anything of that? Or is that just something somebody was just telling me that they had to readjust the interest situation. So that's baloney then. That you guys are,
Well, the bond did go. The bond went up after the election. Shortly after the U.S. election, we saw a little bit of a blip up there. And again, everybody's we've talked about this numerous times. Are people going to go back to that variable thing, or they're going to hit fixed? Yeah, that's a very volatile thing. Like, we'll see what happens after the first 100 days of Trump. And see some reaction that's going to happen, right? We have no idea the roller coaster.
Oh my God, the world's in for everybody's on their toes. All of a sudden, everybody's kissing Trump's ass right now. They didn't think he was going to get in. So, okay, another thing. Okay, realtors numbers drop at Canada's largest real estate board. Now, we know that almost 90% of, would you say 90% of realtors, or let's say 40% of them don't even do a deal, right?
Oh yeah, 40.
And
then
another 40% maybe do 3 or 4 deals a year.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So they had a huge drop, the biggest drop since the 90s.
Well, the drop is funny because there's this amalgamation going on of boards. So you have to understand there was so Niagara now is gone to that platform. It's called PropTech, which is owned by the Toronto Real Estate Board. So where there were people in Niagara that had a Toronto membership and a Niagara membership, they gave up their Toronto membership, and now they've just got the Niagara one. So you have to understand, so those numbers are skewed, right? And there's been a lot of other amalgamations throughout Ontario that are joining Toronto. So they're saying, well, I don't need my special Toronto membership anymore. I'm just I'm gonna now be a part of Toronto, but through my own board. So those numbers are a little bit skewed.
Right.
They're not actually correct. Yeah.
Now, will Hamilton get involved with that? Is Hamilton looking at that, since everybody else is? They got
it's
the pressures there.
Yeah. Well, they're not. It's not off the table, and they're looking at, probably they could go that route as well. But you got to remember Oakville too. Like Oakville, you had 2 memberships: Oakville, Milton, and then you had Toronto. Now they are going to Toronto, so they don't need that. So they're either going to decide, I'm going to just keep my Oakville membership that has access to Toronto and give up their Toronto membership. So yeah, it's this new wave. So those numbers are a bit on the skewed side. Yeah.
So basically, with because Toronto's so massive, the board is isn't it the biggest real estate board in Canada,
in the world,
States?
on the planet, yeah. Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah,
so,
on the planet, yeah.
So, but now Barrie, they're part of the TREB now, but they still have their own board that they put the listings on. What's
again? So they're using the platform. The used to be called Stratus, but now the platform is PropTech, which is and actually Toronto's now looking at selling this PropTech thing all over the world. They were just part of the World MLS forum in Europe, and they're a part of that as well. So they want to get this MLS going in Europe. So I'm in Europe speaking next week. I'm going to say, be careful what you wish for.
No kidding. No kidding.
This thing, the pendulum swings. It's really not fun when you have these boards that have behemoth control, and you and I both know, Rob, we get fined all the time for the dumbest errors. So organized real estate's not fun.
No kidding. And for some of the stupidest things that they want you to do, it's incredible. But yeah, I remember the 90s. I wasn't a realtor back then. I was doing business, small different businesses. But I do remember how things were. And I remember in the late 80s, I was invited to a party in Hamilton at the real estate board party, because I was buying real estate, and I went to the restaurant there with the fish place there on Main Street, King Street or whatever. Not Papa's. There was I'm going blank on it. It's a fish place. Yeah. And I was there a bunch of realtors. I was like 22 years old, 21 years old, and I felt great. And I was renovating. You're not going to believe this. When I bought Tuckett, I was renovating it.
It always comes back to Tuckett.
Tuckett's got a lot of memories.
Tuckett. Are you the one that bowed the wall, Rob? Are you the one that bowed the wall on that
I remember the conversation. I was buying that wall had a bow in it, and the realtor told me that's been like that forever. And it's still like that, I think. Isn't it?
I got a structural engineer because I tore it down to the studs. And you know what it was that bowed the wall? The structural engineer ended up saying when they built the house and put the bricks on, they put the second floor on too quick, and the mortar wasn't dry yet, so it made it look pregnant. So it's like they were just trying to build it really quick, but it was like that for 100 years, so it was fine.
It's not because it's solid. It's solid.
I know. So, I remember the guy who sold it to me. I was like, it's a pregnant wall, and he just wanted to double end the deal. I won't say who it was back in the day, but he did not. He's like, you're fine. I'm like 21, 22. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, you're fine.
It's been like that forever. It's been like that forever.
It had been.
Yeah.
Sure.
But Rob, you said something interesting about the members, right? We had 3,500 members in 1989, and 1990 it went down to 2,500. We lost 900.
Wow. 900
from Christmas time to January. So you're right about that. Like 900 agents, almost a quarter of the agents left.
So back to that. So what happens? Like we're seeing a lot of elderly realtors getting out because
retiring.
This business is getting too fast for them. If they just can't keep up with the social media and everything that's going, and they're changing so much, electronically, like just with the MLS and everything. It's hard for these guys to keep up because first of all, they're not the generation that even we're doing things like there's a couple of guys in at REMAX. I mean, luckily they got their kids to help them because they wouldn't be able to handle it today. Like, you know what I mean? Are we going to be like that in 20 years?
Hopefully they'll have nicer looking walkers, so we can bring our walker.
Well, little scooters going around.
Scooters going around. Scooter squad.
But I know.
Make that 40 years out, not 20, 40 years. Come on, guys.
That's it. But anyway, we're running out of time. I just want to say, everybody out there, listen. Canceling a listing and relist is not going to change anything.
Nothing.
Canceling a listing to wait till next year, I think you're making a big mistake because there's a lot of sales that do happen in December, the end of November, and I don't get where that came from. They think it's going to re-show up it does re-show up on people's thing, but you just change the price. Like, don't cancel listing if you're just going to keep it. Now, I want to ask you something, Conrad. What do you do to a listing to have it resent to like all the other agents' clients when it gets that? Price is one, we know.
Yeah, price,
A new price. Anything else on the listing?
Yeah, anything else? Yeah, it's funny because you mentioned Trev because people were putting a comma and stuff like that. They kind of outlawed that. It's got to be a decent, substantial change, right? Something. Even the wording, they don't allow that anymore. Like the wording, the extra marks, it's got to be something pretty monumental in the mandatory fields, right?
Well, and I was reading in Vancouver, even $10,000 won't
do it. Yeah,
won't do it. Yeah, so
this is organized real estate. That's the problem, right? They get too into it, and they, you know what I mean? They mess it up. They should let the market
They always mess it up. It's like when you can tell when they hire somebody new at these, like even at the real estate board or Google or anything. They change everything up. No. They hire a new guy to take care of things, and he just makes a mess of it, trying to show that he's doing something with his new job that he got, and he messes the whole world up by redoing his calculations and doing all sorts of crap. Hey, you ever see that?
They like to call it unintended consequences. That's the nice way of putting it. The consequences of this was.
The company hires somebody. They feel, okay, this guy comes in. He says, well, listen, I got to do something. Everything is actually good. I don't know why. So then he makes a mess for everybody else up out there. But anyway, guys, listen, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And we'll catch you. Well, I'm not sure. Are you going to be on next week? Because you're in Europe. I'm
in Europe, but I'll be fine. Yeah, I should be okay. With the time change, I should be fine. Yeah,
awesome.
Be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, guys, listen, have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next week, man. Take care.
Ciao.